Thank you. Yeah, I'm James Staunton, Co-Director of Workshop Architecture, and here today to present Newcomb Primary School, which is near Geelong, which is a VSBA project. So, to start with, the little pink donut shows the location of the school, which is in Newcomb, and you can see up there Geelong CBD up here and Point Henry pointing out into Swan Bay over there on the right. And Point Henry is quite important because it's, with regard to this project, because it's the home of what was the Point Henry aluminium smelter, which was built in the late 60s, decommissioned in 2014. And the building of that there really spurned the expansion of this suburb of Newcomb. And many of the kids from the working families of the area went to the school. Zooming in then, this shows the school, which is really an island amongst a sea of suburban allotments. As you can see there, the BER building on the left was the only thing deemed to be kept with the rest of the buildings to be demolished. So with the enrolment of only 100 students from a peak of 600 during the heyday of the aluminium smelter, as well as ageing asbestos-ridden buildings, we embarked upon a master plan to establish a comprehensive vision for the future of the school. So this is a bit of a mud map diagram of where we started with the master plan, the BER building on the left and a checkerboard of new buildings wrapping around a series of courtyard play spaces in between. So the master plan proper, the BER building on the left, removal of everything except other bits of site infrastructure throughout the site. And then this is stage one for 100 to 125 kids, where the building, the stage one, which this project has, is a multi-use admin and specialist teaching building. But what we had to keep in mind was that as the school grows into the future, that building is going to have to be changed and converted into the whole admin building for the school. And we also looked further ahead to the expansion of the school right up to a sort of target kind of size of 450 to 500 kids. And you can see there the primary circulation path connecting everything up in the solid line, and then a meandering secondary path in the dotted line around the campus and the courtyards, and there's a car park up in this area there. So this is the before, and then this is the after. You can see our building down here with its 25 kilowatt array of solar panels on the roof. The other thing that was retained on the site was this shade structure here, ugly but useful, and a new relocatable building is plugged into the north side of that. And the plan itself, the parts in blue are storage spaces, the parts in pink are amenity spaces. The entry to the building is down the bottom left here, there's admin spaces along the bottom of the plan, staff room at the end, opening north into a community multifunction room, and in the top left, art and music spaces with the operable wall between them. So we're interested in the history, cultural and physical of the area, and we went and had a look at the Point Henry smelter, which was being demolished at the time. Had to negotiate, some locals having a bit of fun on a Tuesday lunchtime on the way. But what we also did was do some research about the history of the area and the plant, and found these great Wolfgang Sievers photos of the plant from 1970 when it opened. It was really a sort of a state-of-the-art facility at the time. And this photo shows this quite well. And from this came the idea of celebrating the industrial past of the area, and the building to be imaginarily built from a variety of decommissioned components from the defunct Point Henry smelter. So trusses, ducts, holding tanks and windows reassembled in such a way as to deliver essential teaching, learning, admin and amenity needs. So this was the result of that, a sort of a language of, that we thought that could be used also, like right throughout the expansion of school into the future. We can see there holding tanks like reimagined as planters there in the sensory garden, which is between the two existing and new building, trusses and duct-like elements over the windows, and then coming in closer to the building at the new entry from the street, looking up into that canopy and into looking out toward the Century Garden through that truss area, and the Century Garden, which was quite important, like one of those courtyard type spaces between existing buildings, and has little pathways, and that's just only been planted, but that will grow into quite a substantial landscape over time. And then moving into the inside of the building, you can see there at the foyer, like a duct-like, again, skylight. It's made quite a feature of, and that's looking right up into that. The skylight itself is not all that large to avoid excessive heat load, but it's magnified by that experience of the skylight shaft, which also reflects light into the spaces. You can see that there in the key section of the building, the yellow part being the skylight shaft, and also down below with the exhaust CO2 triggered exhaust ventilation system, which all the ventilation goes through the step in that facade in that extruded section of the building. And then this is looking into the art and music spaces with the wall retracted, looking across those spaces, and then back the other way. So there was definitely a desire from the school to keep all the palette neutral internally for the array of colour that would be brought in, you know, with all the activity within the school. And so, you know, it's important balance in this way. Whilst the references are industrial in the building, that the components are figured in such a way to create suitably intimate and intriguing internal spaces, with ceiling heights as low as 2.1 metres and as high as 5 metres throughout the spaces of the school. This is then into the staff room area toward the end, looking up again, the same skylight detail to that area, and looking through to the community room to the north, and that's inside of the community room, looking back again, and then outside and around the canopy along the north of the building, connecting the existing and the new buildings together. Some facade detailing, looking along that canopy again, and then zooming out, you can sort of shows the Century Garden and those sort of pathways that go across there. The existing spoon drain was incorporated as an imaginary sort of dry riverbed that we built that landscape around and extended as a series of pathways. And then zooming out to this shot, which then shows the school arrangement with Point Henry there in the distance pointing out into Swan Bay.